Greetings, adventurers. It's your boy, the wise old man, and today I am going to tell you the alleged story of the time I strategically redistributed the poorly guarded assets of the Draynor Bank. But first, spec that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now grab yourself a drink, a snack, and let me tell you the tale of how a legendary, handsome wizard outsmarted an entire bank and made off with all of its goods. First, let me be clear. This is just a bedtime story. I am by no way admitting to being a part of the Draynor Bank robbery. I was off in Vice at the time, helping an adventurer who was on a strange quest, so it couldn't have been me. But if it was me, here's how and why I would have done it. First, the why. Simple. Bitterness. I've been helping the people of Gielinor for decades now, from teaching them with my vast knowledge, to helping them on quests, and even clearing their banks of junk. A day doesn't go by that I don't help some lost adventurer out of the kindness of my heart. But what has that gotten me? A bank full of worthless junk, living in a tiny house in Draynor village, making YouTube and TikTok videos that nobody watches to get by. All the while having to watch my ex-girlfriend, Zenevivia, living in my former, glorious house, living it up in luxury. It was high time for me to change that. And this is how I'd go about doing that. Phase 1, Reconnaissance. I spent several days just sitting and watching the bank, thinking up the perfect alibi that was just detailed enough that it sounded real. In this time, I learned everything about how this bank worked, from the people behind the counter to the guards who patrolled it. It wasn't too dissimilar to the other banks of Gielinor, but there was one major flaw in Draynor's bank, a large crack in the side of the building. That would be how I'd make my entrance. Making my way to the bank, I'd have to worry about the market to the west and the guards who patrolled it, so I'd need some kind of distraction there. Then, I'd have to deal with 1 to 2 guards patrolling the bank, depending on the time of the day, and 3 bankers once I'd made my way inside the bank. Also, I'd need to handle any adventurers that might happen to randomly enter the bank during the heist, so that there would be no witnesses. And finally, I'd need to destroy the security camera that watched over the bank, incinerating the security tape within it, leaving no evidence. With everything planned out, it was on to the next phase of my master plan. Phase 2, the heist. Eventually, I'd finished up with my reconnaissance, and it was finally time to put my plan into action. It was a beautiful day in Draynor. The market was quiet, not too many people were using the bank, and it was just close enough to the end of their shifts that the bank guards were slacking. That's when I made my move. First, I slipped a local pickpocket by the name of Coolmom 227 a few coins to get caught stealing from the seed stalls, luring all of the market guards away from the bank. Then, I opened my front door and cast a very powerful, secret spell I developed that I like to call Bankruptcy Surge at the crack in the wall of the bank. As luck would have it, a guard walked right into my line of fire as I did so, and the spell completely incinerated him. One less problem to worry about. But just as one problem went away, another arose. Olivia, the annoying lady who owns the Draynor seed market, saw what I did to the guard and was going to go call for backup. I couldn't let that happen, so with a quick tele-other, I sent Olivia off to Camelot to go for a visit with King Arthur. With Olivia out of the picture, it was time to get back to my plan. I quickly looted the coins dropped by the incinerated guard and cast another bankruptcy surge at the crack in the wall, and sure enough, it came crumbling down ever so nicely, leaving a hole just big enough for me to fit through and enter the bank. Most people would have just used the front door, but not me. I like to do things with style. As I made my way into the bank, I kindly asked everyone to not move. But like the fools that they were, they began to resist, so I had to make short work of them. A couple bonks from my Saradomin staff later, and we were down to just one banker left, who hid in the corner of the room crying for help. Before I could deal with her, though, I would have to get rid of the two witnesses that happened to be in the bank, so they couldn't identify me later on down the line. I cast 2 more surges, quickly disposing of them, before another noob wandered in wearing silly bunny ears that I dealt with as well. This seemingly insignificant moment would end up being a very special one for me, as one of the witnesses left behind a very stylish blue party hat that would go on to become a major part of my wardrobe going forward. With a quick cast of a telegram, it was time to say goodbye to my black beret and hello to my new party hat. It looked amazing on me, but I couldn't spend too long admiring myself. I had to get back to the heist. I kindly asked the remaining banker to hand over all of the money when suddenly, from behind, another guard charged at me yelling, "Old man, you're fit a cage." He was a lot more skilled with his blade. Maybe he was trained and sent by King Arthur. That damned Olivia, I should have teleothered her into the wilderness. I had to dig deep into my bag of spells to deal with this guard, though. First, I cast Charge to amplify my next move. Then, I hit him with a devastating Saradomin strike, and followed it all up with one of the most lethal high kicks Gielinor would ever bear witness to, which caused the guard to crumble in a heap. With nothing left to do but collect my earnings from the remaining banker, I sent one final surge at the bank's surveillance camera, and made my way over to the banker. After seeing just how magnificent I was, the banker didn't even try to resist. She just opened the bank vault and sat silently in the corner of the room as I emptied it out. From there, I introduced her to my bankruptcy surge spell and made off into the sunset. Phase 3. The aftermath. Things were a little crazy in Draynor village for a while after the bank robbery, so I needed to lay low. I'd spend a couple weeks in Lumbridge, staying at my good friend Duke Horatio's place, counting my earnings. And boy, did I have a lot of earnings to count. I was rolling in it. But after a couple of weeks of laying low in Lumbridge, hanging out with Horatio, and spending a good chunk of my newfound wealth at the local pub, the heat had finally died down back in Draynor village. So I made my way back on over. Walked right into the bank I'd strategically redistributed the poorly guarded assets from, and deposited them right into my own bank account. Nobody was any the wiser. The bank struggled financially for a while, but eventually they came up with the genius idea to start charging adventurers 50 coins to watch the security footage from the day of the infamous bank robbery everyone was talking about, and that ultimately compensated for all of their losses. I guess my bankruptcy surge spell didn't quite destroy the security cameras and their footage after all. I just hope the footage isn't too damning towards me. I do suspect they might think it was me who pulled off the heist, though, as there's this pesky guard who sits in the tree across from my house with binoculars who won't stop spying on me. Oh well, though, that's a problem for another time. Maybe for when I attempt my next big heist on a certain wizard tower that's been getting on my nerves. I do happen to be low on runes after all. But there you have it, the story of how I would have robbed the Draynor Bank if it were me who did it, which I am not saying it was. I was off in Heist, like I previously stated, so it couldn't have been me. Now run along, adventurer. And if you ever need some advice on how to pull off the perfect heist, you know where to find me. Also, if you enjoyed this story, why not spec that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications so you'll know when my next exciting story goes live. But until the next one, I'll see you in Gielinor. Thanks for watching another video. If you'd like to hear about the time I won the Fashionscape extravaganza, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to follow along as I retell my craziest story to date in the series Tales of the Wise Old Man, click on the playlist to the right.